doesn't the vaccine save lives?
Correct, it lowered the death rate. It doesn't prevent it 100%,
Okay, so why are people dying?
because it's not 100%.
We needed. The reality is, if we don't get vaccinated with Jesus, we will face God on Judgment Day.
Is there anything I could say today that would change your mind?
I'm just
I'm asking you a question.
Probably not, because I actually read and study.
Before we dive into today's debate breakdown, a quick word from today's sponsor, Step 1 Fitness, my own fitness business. That's right, I am sponsoring myself. As an NASM certified personal trainer, I offer custom fitness programs designed to meet your specific goals, whether you're just getting started or you're ready to level up on your fitness journey. Each program includes personalized workout plans, ongoing coaching calls, progress tracking, and direct access to me for all the support you need along the way. Ready to take your first step towards a happier, fitter you? Click the link below to schedule a free consultation with me today and take your first step towards a healthier you. And also enjoy today's video. After going over Eleazar Perez, a couple of people in the comments of my viral video, which went more viral than Eleazar's most popular video, by the way, fucking love the irony with that, by the way, said that I should cover Dr. Mike next. There is a lot to go over, especially because this thing is an hour and 30 minutes long. So I tried to find a couple of parts of the video to be able to go over in specific.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Doing fantastic. Excited to talk about health.
I just had a baby, 7 months old. And, you know, my baby, I was like, no, I'm not getting any vaccines. The doctors came in, they made me feel like a very bad mother for not doing that, right? I was very pressured. And then I had a family friend who had a baby at the same time, was a few months in, gave vaccines to the baby, and the baby had seizures and has had seizures since. And I've also had a friend who I went on a mission trip with, and this pastor was totally healthy, two young girls, and this pastor literally got a heart attack out of nowhere. And the only thing was he took the vaccine. And there's many cases like that.
Well, first of all,
Straight out the bat, what you're going to see a lot in this video, and it's something that a lot of people that are radicalized the reason why they are where they are is because of personal experiences that they have, which drive them to these extremes. If you talk to like conservatives and stuff, especially more politically active ones, the issue which makes it really hard to de-radicalize them is the fact that they've been pushed into these positions because of traumatic experiences.
congratulations on the birth of a 7-month-old. The fact that anyone made you feel bad in the healthcare system, I feel like is a failure on us in the healthcare system. So I'm sorry that happened to you.
Building rapport with somebody is a really good way of gaining their trust, and it's a really good way of opening them up. I worked in marketing at a gym before, and one of the things that we were taught to do is get to know the potential client, get to know the potential customer, and try to open them up and possibly use those personal experiences as a way to shape your own arguments, to make them, to overcome the hurdle that you have to overcome in order to sell somebody on something. Similar kind of strategies here in order to persuade somebody's mind. You have to build rapport with them, and you have to open them up in order to make them more willing to hear you out. The more closer you feel to somebody who you're talking to, the more likely they are to at least hear you out, or the more easy it'll be to plant seeds of doubt in their minds.
In healthcare, it's very difficult to predict the future because there are so many unknowns and there's so many variables in healthcare. There are things that are that are outside of our control. And we try to do the best with the limited amounts that we can control. So when we see two things happen simultaneously in healthcare, sometimes we think they have caused one another. But unless we see a pattern of that happening over and over again on a large scale,
Right.
it's more likely that this is just a coincidence of things happening at the same time. For example, I have a friend of mine who's a physician who vaccinates children very regularly. And they were about to give a child the vaccine. And before giving the vaccine, the child had a seizure. They went on and had more seizures throughout their life and ended up actually dying at a very young age because of a seizure disorder. But the vaccine was never given. Had that happened 2 minutes later, What do you think would have been in the mother's mind and in the father's mind in that situation, other than, I definitely think that vaccine caused that problem? But it could have just as easily happened before, which it did, and the vaccine wasn't responsible. So it's very difficult when two things happen at the same time to be able to make an exact reason as to if that's what happened to cause it. So what we do is we admit that there's safety issues with vaccines.
Right.
They're not 100% safe. Nothing in life is 100% safe. Driving or walking here today is not 100% safe. I could have a heart attack right now. Cannot predict it. But what we can do is try to do the best that we can with the information that we have.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please.
Just to keep in mind, by the way, the moment he started talking is when all of the flags rose, and for most of his response right there were 8 out of 16 flags. These people really don't want to hear somebody out like this, but they're kind of forced to because of the whole flag system. But the good thing that he did here, which I don't think anybody has ever seen enough of in the realm of political debates, is showing humility and showing that it's okay not to know everything. And this is why I say he's a great debater. It's because he knows there are strategic concessions that you have to be able to make in order to get through to somebody. If you take the stance that your position is completely solid, there's no holes or anything like that, you're going to just be talking to a brick wall, essentially. I mean, they're going to be talking to a brick wall from their perspective, and you're just trying to retort every single thing that they say, no matter what. And that ends up creating two different immovable forces trying to clash with each other. But if you show humility, you show that you're willing to concede on a point, especially one that is relatively reasonable, that's going to make them more likely to trust you and thus open up, which is a part of that rapport building experience.
Hi, Dr. Mike.
That was smooth. Hello.
He's got that wrist flowing. I'm actually a fan of your channel. I've been watching for a while.
Thank you.
I am a pediatric hematology oncology nurse.
Wow, okay.
I think a lot of mistrust in my eyes were opened during the whole COVID pandemic.
Why?
Institutions that were there. I used to be in the military, so when I was in the military,
Another case of personal antidotes, which you're going to see quite a bit of with a lot of these people. It's their views, the current views are going to be rooted in personal experience. That's just how it is with virtually every radical person, because they basically have no facts on their side, I'm sorry to say.
military, I signed my bodily autonomy away. If they told me to do something, I did it.
And thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
No, I say that in all seriousness because I think a lot of times that kind of becomes habit just to say thank you, but I really do mean that thank you.
I appreciate it. The vaccine, this mRNA vaccine, it's going to prevent the transmission of COVID. It's going to prevent you from getting it. And others, if you don't get this vaccine, you hate your grandmother. You're going to kill all these people, and you got to do your duty and get it. Well, you know what? My grandmother got it, and she died. I saw her take.
I don't think I said this before, but I completely understand why people find it really hard to discuss, talk to people like this. The experts said all of this stuff. The experts show me data, but you know, when my grandmother took it, she died.
Certain people, when they've been burned by the government, to all of a sudden, all right, well, I'll trust you now. Ultimately, it's people's choice. Just like if someone wants to refuse a treatment, we give them an AMA form against medical advice. I think it's all up to people's choice and their autonomy.
There was a few topics that you touched that I
5 flags already raised, by the way.
think are really worth discussing. First, bodily autonomy. I believe that, and that is the sole principle by which we practice medicine. Vaccines fall in a unique category because your decision on vaccinating your child and then sending them to school can impact other children in that school. So much like drinking and driving as an example, your choice to do that puts your life at risk, but it also puts others at risk. So we deem that as dangerous for the general public. This is
Why is he shaking his head at that? That's just fucking common sense.
why vaccines, it becomes a little more complicated when we talk about bodily autonomy. When it comes to our government, our mandates, pharmaceutical companies, there's absolutely reasons for distrust. I love that everyone in this room is a skeptic, and I encourage skepticism. I don't think anyone should just go into a doctor's office and say yes, 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 yes. In fact, I love when my patients question me. I empower them to ask questions. Doctors sometimes get this attitude where they're like, oh, you Googled before coming here? Google search doesn't replace my degree. No, that's not how we're supposed to be. Yeah. What I get excited about is if you Googled and you have questions, now I know exactly the route I need to take to help you make a decision that's right for you and your family.
Okay, pause.
He's correct. He's like affirming part of their views because there is truth in that. You don't want to just blindly accept authority, even if it's your doctor and stuff like that. And he's completely right on that. And that's a very powerful move on his end, showing that humility and showing that he doesn't know everything. You might find something through a Google search that I didn't know. We don't have enough of that in the debate space. Whether or not this would actually work in a political debate, it's really hard to say, especially when it's a realm about like winning and stuff. But if you can use this kind of thing on an interpersonal level somehow with a more radical family member, friend, or maybe even a coworker or something like that, do that over time and it will definitely help you in the long run. If you don't change their mind, at the very least, possibly spreads the word to another friend who they may go like, hey, I disagree with my friend, but they are very civil and compassionate about their arguments. Maybe you'll want to talk to them or something like that.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Knight.
Pleasure.
Pleasure. I want to say first that I'm a mother of 6 children. My oldest.
Same thing again. Third person that we've randomly skipped to, who is talking from being a mom or losing a family member or something like that, just kind of hones in the point. How fucking long does this lady talk? Jesus Christ. How is he supposed to... How is he supposed to address all this, man? Oh my god.
Where people come in with either an acute complaint, something's going on with them, or they're coming in for a preventive physical where we can get ahead of things and make them healthier by preventing illness. In fact, if you think about where pharma's profits are, if pharma had to choose between preventing an illness or to treat an illness for the rest of someone's life, financially speaking, they probably want to just treat someone for the rest of their life.
Exactly.
But that
is a good point. One of the big pharma talking points is like, they don't want to sell you the cure because they want to keep treating you for the rest of your life with medicine and stuff like that. If they found a medicine that they can hook you on for the rest of your life, why the fuck wouldn't they do that? It doesn't really make sense. Like, people say, oh, Big Pharma would hide the cure for cancer and stuff. Do you not know how much fucking money they'd make off the cure for fucking cancer? Like, it doesn't make any sense when you kind of think about it a little bit more, you know?
It's not what vaccines are. Vaccines prevent that illness. They prevent it from happening. And when you brought up the subject of autism, I think it's an important subject, and it's a subject that's been largely debunked by the entire world community.
Not at all. I've seen studies that say otherwise, doctor. So I don't know if you're going off.
I hate when people say vaguely, I've seen studies which say otherwise. What study? Did you only read the abstract? Did you ever read the methodology? Did you ever read who published it or who peer reviewed it? There's a lot more on whether a study is valid than just saying it's a study.
Is there anything I could say today that would change your mind?
I'm just asking your opinion.
I'm asking you a question.
Probably not, because I actually read and study.
Oh my god. The brain. Her brain is fucking fried, man. I read and study these vague-ass fucking studies that I can't name like Dr. Mike can. And I also trust RFK, who has said some of the most batshit stuff imaginable. Look at her fucking smoking face. Look at her face. I paused on the perfect fucking frame, dude. Oh my gosh. The fact that they didn't vote her out, by the way, right then and there hasn't even been a flag raised when she said that. What the fuck? In a room full of normal-minded people, she would have been voted out immediately.
Hi.
Hello?
Again. Okay. RFK Jr. has been revealing so much of what we have been needing to know about health. And again, like you were saying, some of the things that have been hidden from us. I mean, I'm a YouTuber, right? I have a YouTube channel. And when I talked about the vaccine, I was censored. And he wants to bring back.
I was censored a bazillion times too, but not for the vaccine. It's just kind of how it works sometimes.
The freedom of speech. He wants to bring back the power of the people, and we have been really just oppressed by Big Pharma and by the government.
Dude, he's a fucking elitist. What are you talking about? Bring power back to the people. The most powerful people in the government right now are billionaires and elitists. What the fuck do you mean, power to the people? He's batshit insane.
This is the way to heal the world, is through the natural medicine of God. God.
Natural medicine of God. Are you fucking serious, dude? I really don't know what to say to that, man. Like, she's brainwashed.
Gave us everything that we needed. The reality is, if we don't get vaccinated with Jesus.
Vaccinated with Jesus? What the fuck did she just say? Let me rewind that.
We needed. The reality is, if we don't get vaccinated with Jesus, we will face God on Judgment Day.
Oh my god, man. I'm gonna be completely honest. When it comes to people like this, that are this far deep into it, I think she's probably too far gone.
It's not just about health. It's about freedom of speech. It's about the government's trying to kill us. Even Bill Gates.
I mean, the government's trying to control you, don't get me wrong, but kill us? They're trying to kill people across the world, sure, with all these airstrikes and wars and shit, but it would be kind of counterproductive to kill civilians like you, especially when you don't actually disrupt the status quo that much, considering Trump is the guy in fucking power right now. You're not a revolutionary, honey. You're not doing anything like super significant to destroy the state or whatever. You don't pose a threat to the status quo. You're not special. You're a lady with probably a somewhat small YouTube channel talking about Jesus all day.
Gates had, I think it was kind of like a TED Talk, but he had like, a talk where he said, we need to get the population down, and we're going to do a great job of it. And you know how? Through improving vaccines, because we're going to lower the population that way.
Okay,
and
pause,
you can find it.
Pause. You've been voted out. Please return to your seat.
Wait a second. Did she get voted out without even Dr. Mike giving a response? Did she get voted out? Dr. Mike didn't even need to say anything, I think. She just talked herself into getting voted out.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. My name is Michael. I kind of bring some curiosities for you. So, in 2010, my mother was vaccinated with the flu vaccine.
What is it with people and their fucking, either their grandma or their mom? Like, all 4 people we've watched so far, it's either their mom or their grandma or they're a mom. What the fuck is it with moms around here, man?
Doesn't the vaccine save lives?
Correct. It lowers the death rate. It doesn't prevent it 100%.
Okay, so why are people dying?
Because it's not 100%.
But reality is, the majority of the people who were dying were vaccinated people.
Correct, because most people were vaccinated.
Dude, come on. Come on with this shit. This is ridiculous. I wonder how close Dr. Mike was to cracking up right in this guy's face. Overall, regarding how Dr. Mike conducted himself on the Jubilee panel, it was absolutely flawless. I really couldn't see anything wrong with how he conducted himself, because these people aren't here to necessarily look for wins the same way that political debaters are. And I think he recognizes that for the most part, outside of Eleazar, who was absolutely looking for that political win. Everybody should watch Dr. Mike debate these people, just in the sense that you can learn something from how to debate friends and family members going forward. But in terms of whether this is useful for debating somebody who wants to win, somebody who's on, like, let's say a platform or something like that, or a competitive debater, like fucking, I don't know, every single right-wing debater ever. Obviously, a lot of these tactics won't work. Showing empathy and rapport, like I said at the very beginning, absolutely goes a long way when it comes to changing minds. If you can stick with somebody and talk to them for about a year and constantly push them on their views and stuff like that, they're going to weaken down and they're probably going to eventually reconsider their views. Pretty high chance that's going to happen unless they are very far down the religious rabbit hole, like that one lady who's saying, we need to get vaccinated with Jesus, or some shit like that. It was so fucking stupid. Oh my god. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have much else to say. Only now did I realize that I never actually properly recorded a real outro for that stream. So I'll just record it right here and right now. Thank you very much for watching until the end. Make sure to join my Patreon if you want to get access to my members only Discord, where we talk about fitness, we talk about politics, all the stuff that you really want to talk about. Make sure to sign up for YouTube members, where you'll see the whole uncensored analysis of this debate. And lastly, check out my sponsor in case you really want to get into fitness. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.